All right, we are up. Good evening and welcome to Live at 7:45. I think that's when we'll start calling it on Sundays. Live at 7:45. It just seems to rhyme a little bit better. I hope everyone's day and week has gone very well. I have been on vacation all week from my actual jobs, and not YouTube and not eBay. And I've actually stayed pretty busy on that, on the eBay stuff. Thursday, I was on Matt's What I Am live stream. I think Joey popped in there, or at least said hey for a minute. But that ended up going for like 2 hours and 30 minutes. And he's in Matt's in Australia. So I had to wake up. At 8. Actually, I woke up like at 7 to make sure I was up in plenty of time and got there at 8. And like I said, we talked for about 2 hours and 30 minutes. So that definitely went into about 12:30 a.m. his time. So that's a great dude. Enjoyed that conversation with him. I am trying to figure this out. So Joey and Nikki T, I need y'all's little magic touch that y'all have got on these cards. I can't find them anywhere. My Target has no limit on them, so if they even come in, they're gone. And the same thing for Walmart. They are completely out. So I don't know if y'all are just staking them out really good and y'all can find them, but I can't find cards anywhere. And I think I've got FOMO about it. I just want to find a pack. That way I can just pick them up and then say that I found them during this time where they can't, where I can't, I always just say I found them and then I participated. In case y'all didn't know, Jess is my wife, by the way. Sorry, technical difficulties. Where is... There we go. I'm going to put the link in just if anybody wants to hop in. I'm always open to chat. That's what I like doing these things. Videos are good, but between everything I got going on, I just have to make time to do them. But I like doing live streams better. I like communicating and just talking to people. So, Nikki T, you brought up sales. Mine, surprisingly, yesterday and today have been better as far as, I don't sell like 20 in a day or something like that. I think that would be kind of shocking to me. But I listed right now, dumbbells have been selling pretty well for me. So I sold I sold one set. Actually, I sold 2 sets of Macari. So it was just like a set of 15, so 30 pounds total, and then a set that I made up of 40 pounds total. So I'll send those out, and that was about 180, I think, between the two, because I think I let them both go for like 90 a piece. That's gross. And then finally sold a Patriots hat that I'd had since I started reselling in January. Finally glad that, and I think I just sent an offer out for that, had a list for 15 and let it go for 12. So not making too much money on that, which is okay. Just glad to see it go. And I listed Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is for the GameCube. That was a popular game when it first came out, and it's still selling pretty good. I can't sell on Amazon, so I think it's selling pretty crazy over there. But all I had was just the disc, so that sold for about $50. So with the stuff that I've had for a while, obviously it probably sold for that. Bought that probably was like $59.99 back in the day, but so I just kind of count that as I guess a no cost to invest in, because I don't remember what I paid for it back then really, but and then so there's 4 things, so that's pretty good for me. 2 days in a row. So real quick, say hey to Nikki T, say hey to Joey, Art Vandalay. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. Marie and Annie, thank you for coming. So Art Vandalay, your name is Dan, right? Or am I wrong on that? Okay, that's what I thought, Dan. So Dan had a pretty good guest on. He had Sam Dapper Tiger on the other day. Got to go back and watch that, and I watched your video today because I commented on it, and I think that's going to be a very good one for me to go back and watch. Talk a lot about Macari. I had Dan, like I said earlier, I actually had 2 sales on Macari today, which was pretty good. I actually listed a set of dumbbells today, and so they sold. I did take a best offer on them. I went back and forth, but what I did with that was they sent me probably the lowest offer that was available, which is okay. And I just replied back to them and said, hey, thank you so much for your offer. And just told them that the lowest I could go right now is X amount of dollars. And if you accept that offer, I will be taking it to the post office first thing in the morning, because obviously they're closed today. So they replied back, or they accepted the offer. They replied back, said thank you, and I said thank you right back to them, and I appreciated their business. And I think doing stuff like that helps, whereas it's not just you just go back and forth with numbers. At least communicate a little bit with them and just kind of explain to them like, hey, I can't go that low right now, or something like that. It just helps to be a little bit nicer and reach out to them. And I actually purchased a video game from somebody today on Macari. I've actually got the manual in the case, so when I get the game in, I think I paid like $40 for the game, but then it's selling on eBay complete for $99 to $100. So I paid, like I said, about $40 for it, and that would be a pretty good profit on that when it sells on eBay. They sell pretty quick. And all that is Pokemon stuff. So it's Pokemon games right now. That's doing very well for me. Video games in general, I know are doing very well for everybody. Emily Conway is over there selling her husband's stuff for like $400. So it's doing pretty well. And when I was on the on Matt's channel the other morning, Tommy, I don't know his last name, but everybody knows who he is because he has the late night talk show with I think Uniquely Me. But he got on there and said if a YouTuber is telling you that something's selling right now, don't listen to him, because probably by the time that somebody's watching the video, is that trend's already gone. But right now, dumbbells are doing pretty well still. And I think the reason that those are still doing pretty good right now is I know at least where I am, they're starting to restock them. And of course, I'm going out and buying them and turn around and selling them. But just because the states are opening back up and the gyms are opening back up doesn't mean that people are going to want to go. And that's because there's still fear about the virus, and everybody's just being extra cautious, which rightfully so. But I do believe that that has something to do with it. So now people are reverting more to like, hey, I've gone 2 months without actually going to the gym, and I can, I've just been kind of doing at home workouts, whether they're watching stuff on YouTube or they've got uh, some other way to get their workouts. It's all over the internet, of course. So they just go ahead and start building their own little home gym. And that way they're in the comfort of their home. They're not having to worry about, somebody cleaned a piece of equipment or not. And they just do their workout. So I think that's why the dumbbells for sure are still selling. Plus, on the flip side, it depends on how much their monthly membership fee is. And I kind of hate that kind of stuff because I got a friend who's starting up a gym now, and it's just unfortunately just hit at the wrong time. He's starting this, and all of a sudden this virus came about, and it's kind of slowing some stuff down. But hopefully, people will go because I think some people, and he's on the CrossFit side of things, so I know I tend to work out a little bit better when I'm in a group setting, and I like that little bit of competition. So. So, Nikki T, you bought some dumbbells when all this started. Yeah, I never thought. I just never thought about it. And everybody, I mean, and all of us definitely on the reseller side could look and see. I never thought that would sell, but whenever we started seeing the simple supply and demand stuff started going on, that definitely changed the game for us. So. And I actually price mine. I price mine at what the market is. I'm not just like way over or anything like that. And I'll negotiate with people. I'll work with people because I mean, I know what I pay for them. So if anybody wants to buy stuff from me, we will work a deal out. But it's surprising on what people will pay for stuff. And if they want stuff bad enough, they will pay whatever you have it listed for. It just depends on if they want the item from you or they want it from somebody else. And sometimes they'll just click on the first thing, and it might just be you. And then they'll either they don't understand that if you've got a best offer on eBay, for example, if you got that on there, they might not understand that, how to use that or what that means. So then you end up getting full asking price for it. And I think obviously that helps us out because I feel like for the most part, we price it at whatever the market's going for on whatever platform we're selling on. See, it's amazing. Nikki T sold you guys just sold a 1988 men's underwear still in the page for $45. So did you find that in a yard sale or did you find that at Goodwill or some thrift store? Because, and I mentioned in one of my videos, and I will start putting more videos out because I understand that is that's very ironic, thrift store. But on the video stuff, I know that you've got to put videos out for your subscribers because people are subscribing to look at the content that you're putting out. And I have no excuses. I really have no excuses. I just have to do it. And I could come up with excuses, but at the end of the day, that doesn't help my cause at all. And Dan, I agree with you. It really just depends on if I want it right then and it's reasonable, then yes, I can get it. I'll go ahead and just buy it. And whenever I remember I first started buying on eBay, I don't think I ever negotiated because I didn't understand it. I thought I'd just buy it now because I didn't want to do an auction and wait 6-7 days for that to end. Now, I did do some auctions too when I was buying stuff, but video games at the time, I was trying to build a little collection up, and that's whenever I just bought it right then. and talking about things to find, just random things that you find at thrift stores. So my mom came by and watched the kids for me and my wife one day, and we went out and had a date day. And this is when I was really starting to get into the resale and stuff. So I asked her, I'm like, well, hey, let's go to a couple of thrift stores, Goodwill, Salvation Army, so you can kind of see what I look for and kind of what I do. Definitely involve her as much as I can, because she has been very supportive of any job that I've wanted to try, for sure, whether it be delivering food or anything. So we went, and this is where I strongly believe and suggest at least do it once, is to have somebody of either a friend, but absolutely, if you've got somebody of the opposite sex, come with you. And the reason I say opposite sex, because everybody, they look at things a little bit different than what I would look at. And she was looking for her eye. She caught something that I would have never thought to. Actually, I even looked at it and then just put it back away because I didn't know what it was. But it's whenever we sold 2 breast pumps. Now, that's weird in a guy's, at least in my mind, to turn around and sell. But I understand that, why, at the end of the day, the people that bought them got a heck of a deal, because we know how much they cost retail. And what we also did was, because I told her, I was like, we're not just going to sell these as they are. We actually purchased accessories for them to make sure it was a complete kit, because we did want to at least help the person that was going to purchase them. And the way that one looked out was, we found this, it was a smaller piece, paid $6 for it. And the lady said, oh, well, there's actually another piece that's supposed to go with that. And then she just brings it out to us. Didn't charge us so much, she just gave it to us. So we actually had 2 working breast pumps that we sold for $60 a piece. And we paid maybe $10 for the accessories, because you could get them in a packet too. So at the end of the day, those things brand new cost about $200. So we know what kind of stress that can put on, especially a new mother, to try and find those things if their insurance doesn't catch them. So that kind of stuff I'm okay with. But back to it, definitely bring somebody with you, because they'll find stuff that you'll overlook, and then they just know what will sell. God, Nick, how the heck did you make? That's crazy. Toothpaste. See, and you just never would have thought about stuff. The regular person that's not in this reselling side of the business, so to speak, would never think to sell toothpaste. Never would have thought of that. And Joey, you've had to make some profit, man. Have you started selling any of those basketball cards off yet? And Nick T, I don't even want to know what kind of profit y'all are making. Y'all have got to be doing very well. But you just hold on, Joey. They will sell. A rehomer than a resale. Give y'all some ranges. Yeah, come on, Joe. You know Nick E.T. and Zion are like that. I mean, what in the world? Joey, are they selling pretty consistently though? Is Zion selling like not just one a day, but like tens a day? Come on, Joey. What else has been selling for y'all? And Joey, who do you have coming on your live tomorrow? Have you already posted it? Got it. I think Joey got distracted. Then why don't you list it? Go ahead and list it, Joey. Go ahead and make your money, man. Dan, what kind of board games are you selling? Because I thought, and when I first got into this and I started, you know, Walmart clearance for sure. Thought that that'd be okay, but then when I didn't realize like everybody else is going to be doing that, so I picked up Toy Story Monopoly, and that was $5, and listed it for $14.99. Ended up taking the best offer of $11.99. And then of course I had to ship it out, and I think that's one where I cut my wrist too, trying to break down the box. But and board game wise, that's the only board game I've sold. I got you, Joey. Which did you have? Is that what you have? The silver prism? I'm trying to remember which ones you pulled. I see. If you can get the thing that would be really cool is if you can, whenever the season opens back up, and then hopefully we can get back to some sort of our normalcy. That if you can get Zion to sign the Funko Pop, that'll be big money one day for sure. And guys, I am going to just drop the link in here again, just in case for people coming in, or if anybody wants to jump in. Bam. Vintage, no box game on life. See, now that is one of my favorite games. I like the game of life. Like playing a board game on video game. That just happens to be one of my favorite. And Clue. I like playing Clue. My wife does not like playing Clue. My wife does not like playing board games with me at all because I can get competitive, and I don't try to be competitive, but Catan, I don't know if y'all have heard of Catan, but she had played it before numerous times, and I had never played it. I lost the first game, and then the second game I beat her, and that was the last time we played Catan for a while. So, but I was not. I was nice about it. The Shelf of Fame. Do what? Hey, Joey, you gotta see my shirt. And if you don't know what their shirt is, I'm gonna be highly disappointed. Joey, tell me what movie that's from. And if you don't tell me and it's not right, I'm gonna be highly disappointed in you. Andy, welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. Andy, I just like looking at your Instagram and seeing cinnamon rolls pop up, man. Yeah, no, we are pretty competitive. I think we are anyway. I just because I don't tell, especially if we play video games, I don't tell how to play it. There was for Nintendo Switch whenever that first came out, there was the game called Arms, and I guess I'm playing the game like you're supposed to. There's a little bit, you're not just supposed to like punch back and forth. But that's what she did, and she beat me so many times, and I'm sitting here like trying to play the game correctly, and so then I sold Arms. That way she can no longer play me in that, and I wouldn't lose. Matt, what's going on, man? I am. What time is it there? Because it's got to be probably noon, right? Should be noon where you are, I think. $10? How is it $10? I don't understand. See, that right there, Matt, tells you I do not understand how the time zones work because it's 8 p.m. here. So I'm thinking it's noon. Oh, never mind. Makes sense now. Because it was 10 p.m. the other night or the other day, 8 a.m. my time. Okay, never mind. I understand it now. Nikki, Matt's in Australia. And if you have not seen that live stream, we talked for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And I thought it was a pretty good conversation. I'm glad I've got a friend in Australia now because it was pretty cool. We talked about YouTube, we talked about eBay, or we talked about just reselling, and then we talked about some of my full-time work that I do. It was a very good conversation. And Joey, I'm so glad that you did recognize my shirt. Because like I said, I was going to be highly upset and disappointed if you didn't. Hey, Andy, is stuff starting to open up a little bit where you are? And Matt, I'm glad. I know I told you already, but I'm glad we could do that because that was just the whole experience was very fun. Getting on there and talking with you, and I know you were kind of just reaching out to somebody you've never talked to before. Say, hey, man, I really like your stuff. What do you think about jumping in on my live? And I'm like, yeah. So if anybody ever wants to do a live with me, I will more than happy love to jump in. Like I said at the beginning of this, I love doing that stuff. I think everything in South Carolina is open now because I know they're limiting eating in still, the dine-in stuff. Obviously, you can eat outside, but I think it's just more spaced out on the inside. But you can go get your hair cut now. You can go to the gyms now. But even though in the gym, I still think it's kind of limited. I know one of the gyms that I've got, like you have to go with a personal trainer. You can only work out for a certain amount of time. You have to wipe down everything for sure. So that, Dan, I'm in Florence. And Andy, whenever you do go to Goodwill like that, Please post it on Instagram. Or at least let some of the people see you wearing that, because that's true, man. That's I'm pretty sure whenever the Goodwills over here, which even now there's the Goodwills are open here, but at least in my town, they people will just walk in with masks and gloves. You can see they got camel spiders over there. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think they do, but they got some. I'm sure they got some big spiders. Yeah, Dan, that's like 3 hours away from me. So where my part-time job is, that's where our main office is, right there. Well, it's in Easley, but it's right outside of that area. Yeah, poor Matt. His stuff hadn't been opening up. Greatly people how you shoved around with new cards and tell them. You let me know the day or an hour before you're going to live stream it, and I will watch it. Warfolk Rambo. So I don't have a Benz over here where I am. I've got I think I'd have to go. You'd have to drive an hour away to Columbia or about 2 hours away to Charleston if I want to go to the Benz. And I've had to go to Charleston a couple of times here lately. And I've went, but by the time I'm able to go, like everything's already been picked through. It's like pretty bad. Wow. I don't do spiders either. I just can't. I hate bees. I hate wasps. I hate hornets. I hate those things that fly. And I don't like snakes. My wife doesn't like snakes. So whenever she found a little baby snake in it, I don't know if she killed it or not, or I think it was already dead, and I still hadn't touched it. So. Well, I'm glad to see you guys. We all have something in common. We hate snakes. We do not do snakes. And today, so luckily I got those 2 sales today, those 2 sets of dumbbells, which I was very happy about, because I've got some that are sitting here, and one of them, that 30-pound set, I listed them within like 2 hours they sold. And like I said, I'll go back and forth with people. But anyway, today, because today was my last day off, or of being off. Tomorrow I actually have to go start working again. Me and my wife got outside and started cutting down a bunch of tree limbs and stuff like that, and just trying to gain our yard back. The people that are here before us didn't really take care of it, so we are working to get our backyard back. But that's kind of one of the things I worried about, was because our house kind of butts up to a swamp a little bit. It's still a little bit away, but it's close enough that a snake could live there and then come back up. So I was worried about her, as she was while she was cleaning up, she was going to encounter a snake. But luckily she didn't. Joey, are you having to work all week? Hey, Matt, have you sold any more DVDs from that haul that you got? So my favorite bread and butter is video games, just like a lot of other people's. But the reason is just because I have a selection that I can sell off right now. but it's also something easy to find at garage. Most of the time, you can find them at garage sales. So if you go to garage sales and you kind of know what you're looking for, then that's some pretty good stuff. Now, the thing that I picked up, the Prodigy music DVD. Good Lord. So this is one of the things that I'm actually a little iffy about right now. Yesterday, we were going out to the grocery store, and we passed by a yard sale. Got my wife and the kids with and said, "Hey, do you mind if we pull in real quick?" She's like, "No, go ahead." So I go over there, and I walk around, look around. Next thing you know, I see what looked like a couple of boxes worth of comic books. A bunch of X-Men and Superman and stuff like that. So, and there was prices on them. And the guy immediately walks up to me and says, "Hey, these are eBay prices. My son looked up and checked them out, and these are what they're going for on eBay." I was like, "Okay." He said, "But if anybody makes me an offer," he's like, "makes me an offer, then yeah, I'll just want to get rid of them, kind of thing." I was like, "Okay." So he shoots me an offer. And this is where it's either going to go good for me or it's going to go probably one of the worst things I've done, because what I did was I got tunnel vision. This guy had these comic books, and I saw a couple of them that had high prices on them. I did not look, so this is all my fault, actually. I did not look and see what they were actually selling for, and the guy shot me a price of $300. He's like, $300, you can have them all. I was like, okay, I can do that. And just like I told Matt the other day, I said do a lot of research, but I didn't research this stuff. So I ended up getting 144 comic books for $300, which is about $2.08, I think, a comic book, something like that. So we needed to sell, I think it was 37 lots at $8 a piece, at least. It's something like that. But anyway, we figured, me and my wife, we got together and figured out how much we would have to sell them for. So I haven't gone through everything yet, but the one that he had listed for $600 is not $600 at all. He what I guess his son or whoever looked it up was it was a signed copy that was listed for $600, not for what actually sold. So that's either going to be the best thing I ever did was spend that money on those comic books, or it's going to be one of the worst things I ever did, and I will not do it again. So, hey, Anthony, Froggy Phillips, thanks for jumping in. I am still waiting for another episode of the Reselling Minute. By the way, and I know I'm not saying that you do it just for me, but I think those things brought a lot of joy. Well, we will see how much of a home run I do hit with that, because that was a pretty big swing, and I at first I was excited about it, and like I said, I got tunnel vision on it, and when I came back, it was at least when I counted and saw there was over 100, I felt a little bit better about it. So probably within the next little bit of time, what we're going to do is we're going to go through and actually write everything out and then research them. And then if we need to lot them up, we'll lot them up. I mean, they don't look bad. Condition-wise, they don't look bad. A bunch of them are in sleeves. So we'll just see what happens. Yeah, bring back the reselling man just for me. Anthony, I just think it was a great idea, man. It was a great idea whenever everything started hitting, and that was a very clever idea that you had, and I thought it was hilarious. It brought a lot of joy to me. And I've told you that in the comments every time I comment on it. I just thought they were hilarious. Definitely a great thing. And you and your wife, the way that y'all work together on your videos are great. Send me a pleasure for me. Sell the rights. So, Annie, did you actually sell it though? And what did you sell the Joy Cons for? Did you meet them? Did you sell them? That's what I want to know. And was it to a cop? But if it went to a cop, I do know. I'm pretty sure I know why they asked you to meet at the police station. I would think just for a secure thing. Hey, and y'all let me know real quick. Is my audio okay? Because apparently the way that I've had my mic is it's been like kind of pointing down. The head of it was pointing toward me, and I was talking to Sam on Instagram because he is now a father, and we were chatting back and forth on Instagram. And he said, "Oh, by the way, you need to make sure that your mic is up and that you're actually talking to the Blue because I got a Blue Yeti. So you need to talk to it." So he said, pointed down a little bit, it was picking up the sounds on my floor or something like that. So I figured I'd try that tonight. So it is pointing straight up. I'm talking to the Blue. I got my little pop filter thing on it. So hopefully it is better. And I did get, as you can see, I got a shadow behind me, but I did get additional lighting for up here that I can also use for taking my pictures and for the videos. That way it's not so dark on me. So I did figure, Matt, that if each, what was it? I think it was if each one sold, I'm gonna do the math again. 144. Yeah. So if each one sold for at least $5, and this is gross now, this is gross, then it would bring in a gross profit of $720. That's if they all sold individually for $5. Will they? Probably not. Probably want to lot them all together. That's why we're going to get together, me and Jesse, and figure it out. $98. Which Joy Cons are they? Are they just a regular like gray or red and blue, or are they like an actual? I guess you say a limited edition. Really? Yeah, that's pretty good. So, I whenever me and Matt were talking the other morning, I've kind of like not told. Well, I did then because I told however many people were watching at the time, but I didn't really boast about it. But I jumped on the Switch bandwagon. So whenever because I mean they started selling so hot. I mean, and why not? And I mean you pay $299 plus taxes and all that stuff, and then they're selling it for, if you bundled it up, which I did, you can sell. Ended up selling my stuff for $575. So I got the Switch with the red and blue Joy Cons, Animal Crossing, the game because at the time that was a hot game that just came out, and an actual controller with the Animal Crossing theme. So it kind of had a little theme to it, and I sold it for $575. And I had somebody comment on my listing, said this is price gouging, yada yada yada. But then I also said that for a Nintendo Switch, nobody has to have it. It's not going to stop you from getting sick or anything like that. It's not there's nothing like that. So I just kind of wrote them off. So when stuff like that happens, I guess don't be afraid to sell it and don't talk about it. I mean, the dumbbell stuff, I jumped on that bandwagon, and I had to talk about that because it just blows my mind what they're selling for right now. So I told me and Matt talked about it. I told him, I said I would never do that for face mask, wouldn't do that for hand sanitizer, that kind of stuff. That's essential stuff. But a Nintendo Switch is not essential. But then somebody in Matt's chat while we were talking about it said it could be essential if I think he said if you were disabled, which then I felt a little bad. But then at the same time, I'm like, but you still don't have to have that Nintendo Switch. So price gouging, I think, during what's kind of going on right now is only good for, in my opinion, the essential stuff, which is food, toilet paper, hand sanitizer, mask. And what I'm also seeing is because of my part-time job, what we sell, medical. We sell some medical equipment, so we were selling N95 mask. And I had a customer complain to me. He said, "That's price gouging." I'm like, "No, that's not. We are not, because of by the time that we're having to get stuff from China, believe it or not. So we had to get stuff from China, the tariffs and the freight and all that stuff just to get over here. By the time it was X amount of dollars, which last year you could buy these masks for 75 cents a piece, roughly. Probably a little more from that, just depending on what you got. And now I went to Academy Sports today because I picked up another set of dumbbells that I've got listed. And there's a N95 mask in there, or a KN95 mask for $550. So I was like, don't fuss at me, man. Wow. Which puzzle was that, Nikki T? Oh, never mind. Liberty Wooden Puzzle. That is crazy. Hey, Annie, thank you for stopping by. I hope your dad has a good evening. And I've still got, so that was the other thing is I watched Josh at Harry Tornado on the puzzle deal. And of course I go and buy some puzzles, and I actually had some just like his. And I was not selling them that fast. I've still got puzzles now that I need to figure out a way to get rid of. So probably what I'm going to end up doing, and this is when I told, and Matt, this is what I was talking about when I told you, the way that I kind of do my eBay stuff is I don't just set a price and just leave it. I will continue to at least try and see where the market's going and try and match the market if I can. So now I got to reevaluate my puzzles and also reevaluating the dumbbell stuff that I got going on and the webcams. Because like I said, man, that stuff, if you can set it and forget it, and yes, they might sell eventually, but it just really depends on what it is. And then at the end of the day, it just depends on what you want your profit to be. So all right, so I think Nikki asked me earlier what my bread and butter was. What usually sells easy for y'all? That is the question now. What does very well for y'all? And I guess it could be like something that you can very easily get your hands on frequently, and then it sells pretty well for you. And Dan, they were puzzles from Walmart. So I've got a couple of Frozen 2 puzzles, some Star Wars. It's the Mandalorian puzzles. It got Baby Yoda on it, so I don't understand why those aren't selling yet, because everybody loves Baby Yoda. So in the health and beauty, can you elaborate a little bit? Because at the same time, I want to learn. Okay, skin cream supplements. And where would you usually find those? I think it's about 300, Dan. See, who doesn't like Baby Yoda? I tell you what, I really want to learn is golf clubs. I really want to learn the honey hole that buys pallets and then sells the. So I've actually got it's almost like a bargain bin. Actually, that's exactly what it's called. Okay, so that makes sense, Dan. And I thought, first of all, my first thing is when I went to this bargain bin place, I screwed up. And this was still pretty early on, and I'm always learning. I'm trying to learn this as best as I can because there's definitely, you can make a lot of money doing what we do. And I picked up these K cups, so Curie K pods and all that stuff. And it was a good mixture, and they were selling for like $40 on eBay. And here I am, I got it from my hand for like $2. And it's a sorted pack, so it's like 20, or I think it's like 20 different pods. So I'm thinking I just grab something, here it is. This could be a pretty decent flip. And then I looked at it a little bit further, and then I realized that there's an expiration date on them. And the expiration date was last year. And nobody's going to want to buy K-Cups at $40 a piece whenever they can buy stuff that's still in date for $40 a piece. So, learning, always learning. Matt, we'll see you in a few. And at this bargain bin place, they have, I think, kind of the same thing as $1, $2, and then they have a bunch of different items that are there, so you can buy in bulk as well. Because, like I said, I found those K cup things for they actually had like multiple boxes. So where I thought I thought I was about to rack up on some stuff. I was like, wait a minute, let's see if I can get these first two sold before I come back and get more. Obviously, that wasn't the case. So, tire shows inserts. So what would you say your second is? Your second bread and butter? I'm just really interested in, because I think y'all too. I think you and Rev do really well. So, and I'm just curious on how in the world. I'm just curious how anybody finds the stuff that they sell outside of a Goodwill. Because some people I don't understand. Some people find them in yard sales and just different thrift stores. But I didn't know if like some people just have like outside people that are actually calling them and saying, "Hey, I wonder how many people that I know actually have an inside guy at Walmart." Because I actually think that'd be pretty cool. You're in the loop with a manager at Walmart, and anytime a pack of Prism cards hits the shelf, you're getting the text that says, "Come now, the cards are in stock," or something crazy like that. Yes, and I scan everything as much as I can. I was getting into, so before the virus hit, I was actually about to start just deep diving into books on Amazon. Got a barcode scan and everything, and I'd actually sent my first shipment in, and a bunch of stuff on that. I mean, it sold. It was pretty, I was pretty excited about it, and then they stopped taking, shipments, and then I'm like, oh, crap. See, and a lot of people, well, I say a lot of people are in Facebook groups that talk about this kind of stuff, and that's kind of at a one of the disadvantages that I'm at, because I don't have a Facebook, and that is a decision that me and my wife made a couple of years ago. We were going to get off Facebook, so there are some disadvantages of not having a Facebook marketplace. And I get I'm not gonna lie, and I told her, I get kind of jealous when I see all these people say, "Yeah, I found this on Facebook marketplace," and I'm like, oh, I can't look on Facebook Marketplace and see if there's anything in my area because we don't have Facebook. But at the end of the day, I'll pick my marriage over Facebook. So another thing I'd like to get into eventually is I kind of want to have a little bit of capital. And the reason I say a little bit of capital is just so I can buy the parts. But repairing like video game systems, there's a guy that I watch on YouTube, and he buys. First of all, it just intrigues me because you are basically taking something that you at least understand. I mean, you know how the platform works and the system works and all that stuff, but he knows how to troubleshoot and fix the issue, and then he'll turn around and sell them for profit. So you can buy something. He bought I think a Switch Lite for $99. It was broken, and all I needed was a couple of minor little fixes, and then he could turn around and sell it. He fixed the iPhone, I think iPhone 11 Pro, and I think he ended up breaking even as about how much it would cost retail because of the screen at the time. But he just fixed it, and he's got a brand new phone. So I would like to eventually get into repairing that kind of stuff because I mean that kind of stuff intrigues me. Because then, especially if you can buy them cheap, then you can still make your profit back. So one thing that I did do was obviously I'm on Instagram now too. I wasn't on Instagram, but now I am, and that has helped me out a lot. Trying to keep up with some of these trends, like you had mentioned, Nikki. One of the things I just recently saw yesterday is the Goo Jiu-Jitsu. It's a toy. And of course, there are rare ones. And I run to Walmart real quick because it showed on the Walmart app that there was 4 of them. But what that Walmart app didn't do was clarify which ones they had. And they had 4, but they were not the one that I wanted. And I guess what I meant by capital is if and you're right, you just made a very valid point, Dan. If I'm going to do it, I need to start small. And the reason, you just said you start with one broken system, flip it, and then, fix it and then flip it. I don't need to try and go and buy out all these different little systems and then go from there. So I think that's what I'll do is I'll try and find one, fix it, and then go from there. So thank you, Dan, for making me realize that. Fix it right now. See, that's the other thing. I don't have anything broken right now, Dan, so I don't need to fix anything. But if I can buy, I would like to buy like a broken system, whether it be like a Game Boy or Nintendo DS or something like that, and then fix that. Kind of troubleshoot and then fix that. And Jesse says, thank you because you just saved me from having to spend money and put more junk in our house. So I guess it is the Halo themed Mega Bloks. Dan, which controllers though? And you can research a lot. I mean, and kind of what I'm getting at is I've got a pretty good idea, but I also know how to troubleshoot it a little bit. So the Switch and the comic books are right up there, but obviously the Switch was going to be retail as RA. But yes, the comic books would probably be the biggest single out of a garage sale or yard sale. That would be the biggest one. And I'm really hoping that I told her, I said, I know how much we need to make out or whatever they need to sell for, at least break even. But even if they somehow just sold for, I got like $5, I said listed, but we pay, it's about, like I said, about $2.08 at comic book. So if they can do a little bit better than that. Dan, I will send you a message on Instagram and we'll talk further about that. Because if you want to unload them, I will take them. And Jess M is my wife, guys. I just want to make sure that y'all knew that. And I will say she is very supportive in everything that I've done. So she, the whole YouTube thing, she's been supportive about it. The reselling, even though I've got inventory that is not listed, she's still okay with it. So. Matt, we will have to schedule a live on my show on my channel sometime. so let's talk about this real quick. So when I bought or whenever we decided to move, we lived in still a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, but it was a starter home. I bought it before Jesse even met me. For the kids, I was 22. No, I was 20. I was actually 20 when I bought my first house. So obviously this whole thing was never in the picture. So then, get married and add a kid, and then potentially, we want our family to expand. So then I'm like, okay, so we need to go to a bigger house. We went to a bigger house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Whenever we bought this house, I had an office. So I had an office that then quickly turned into our soon-to-be son's bedroom because we didn't know, obviously, that she got pregnant. She got pregnant November, something like that. But anyway, so then I lost the office. So now I kind of shoot like around different places I've got my regular part-time job stuff set up in our bedroom. And then I've got other stuff. Like I got DVDs over here in front of me. I've got encyclopedias. I've got my boxes are in a closet that's back here. Video games all over the place. So we got a bigger house, and then we just put more stuff in it, and not a lot of designated areas, so to speak. Okay, and she just yelled at me and said that she doesn't put more stuff in the house. I put more stuff in the house. So. And apparently, and yes, my kids just look just like me. So, Matt, I somewhat keep track of sales. I started out really good. Honestly, I started out really good, and I went the other day to try and just recapture everything, and it is a pain when you get behind. So don't get behind on tracking your sales. Just don't do it. And say, Nikki, hey, if I've got like a little utility closet that's in the carport, but it doesn't lock. And I feel like some of this stuff should be temperature controlled, so that's why I don't put everything in there. And eventually I would, late, and this is a little later on down the road, is if we could get a shed that we could come like coming with kind of like Kevin's got. So that's pretty cool, and just kind of store some of the stuff. And I don't put it in the attic because it gets hot as can be up in the attic. And stop giving my wife fuel, please, because I'll hear about this once I get down this live stream. She's like, "See, everybody else knows what you're supposed to do. Why aren't you doing it?" Everybody agrees with me. See, Matt, you didn't even get to see my son the other day. I'll show you my son. See, and I guess that's the other thing I'm kind of jealous about because people have an enclosed garage, and that's why I see where like, everybody like sets all their stuff up. Well, we've got a carport, and even then, I always want, I was kind of thinking of us getting the house I rent is that we had a carport, so at least Jessie could park her car. That way, if she was getting in and out with the kids, she wouldn't have to get out in the rain and stuff like that. So, even if we did have a garage, I would still like for her to be able to park her car inside. But that's just me. I'm about to show y'all the cutest little kid as soon as I can get a good picture. It's okay. Gonna get my payback starting. But see, here's the thing with that, Nikki, is that what if you're cross posting? So I cross post a lot of stuff. See, I think that's a good end goal is to have a little shed. So, all right. Come on, man. Where's a good photo? So, Dan, you've got. Stan, how many items do you have listed? Like, how much inventory do you have? And Nikki, I know you and Rev got like a bunch of stuff. You see in the videos, it's just like stuff's everywhere. And here's my son. I don't know if y'all can see him or not. Oh. There you go. 355 items is where my car. So here's the issue I've got with my items being listed. I do try and make an honest effort to at least list one a day. And over the weekend, I listed more. So this is what happened. I listed like 3 to 5 items yesterday. And 3 of them sold. Actually, I listed 5 items. 6 items. Sorry, 6 items. So Super Mario Brothers Melee sold. Pokemon Black sold. A hat that I had when I first started sold. Then I had 2 items on Mercari sale. So 3 items, I listed 5 items on eBay and 3 of them sold. So now I'm back to the number I was just at. So, which is, I'm not complaining, but I just gotta freaking make all the time, I guess, to list. So, and I know getting to that 355 number, it takes a little bit. I mean, that's just not something you're going to hit. I mean, you have to be listing all day, every day, and I get that part, but some of these items I'm listing, they're just not staying long enough. So then I'm like, well, now I got to try and get something else to sell. So let me ask you this, Nikki: is it a 1-car garage or is it a 2-car garage? And I completely agree with you. I go look for stuff all day and have fun with if I find something, if not, kind of thing. But listing, especially with eBay, just because of the process that it takes in order to get stuff done. Even with Mercari, I don't know if Mercari. Well, I think Mercari is a little bit more. They're about the same, and I say difficulty, but I mean length of time. But I think eBay's a little bit easier than Mercari. That's just my opinion. And if it's technically a 2-car garage, you should tell him like, hey, listen, my car's going to be in my spot, and then your stuff's going to be where your car's supposed to park. Yeah, Matt, my son is not sleeping at all at night right now. And Dan, that's what I was saying is I understand that it's just basically putting the time in, putting time. But then at the same time, I don't have anywhere I can store like 355 items either. So Matt asked me on his show, like, what kind of system do you have for your inventory? I was like, dude, I don't have one. I got stuff over here. I got stuff over there. I just remember at least in the general area of where it's supposed to be, and then I can find it. Okay, so now I can see why you would have so much stuff in the whole garage. So why did you decide to buy the other person's inventory when you first started? Like, was that the first thing that you did, or did you wait a little bit and then that was kind of the big thing, the first big thing that you did? Okay, very first big purchase. Do you know about how many have you made have you made a good bit of money off of that yet? Well, I mean, I'm sure you have, but I mean, was it a what am I trying to say? Was it worth it? I guess is the biggest thing. Was it worth doing that at the now kind of looking back, or do you wish you kind of done something else or not done that? Gotcha. See, that's pretty cool that you're selling audiobooks like that. That's also another thing I need to do is I need to is try and reach out to a couple people, see if I can find the store, because I know some people don't like sharing their stores, which is completely fine. And I understand it. But if I could just find, like, I got Josh's store. I got Harry Tornado's Phoenix resellers. I think that's it. And I got Matt's part-time pickers. I've got their store, so I try to look at their stuff and just see how they've got their items listed. And that's basically what I'm doing. Obviously, if there's something there that I like, then I would buy it. But I'm trying to see how everybody else does theirs. And like golf clubs, like I mentioned like way earlier, that I'm trying to figure out more about golf clubs. And I talked to Casey, Carolina Hustler. Actually, I asked him, I said, hey man, I need like a crash course. And he said, hey, watch my video I just put up. So which we had talked before, but I was like, that's not the answer I wanted, man. I wanted a little bit more like, hey, yeah, look for these brands, but that's okay. So the thing with the t-shirts, and we all know Rally Roots, and that's just insane. I'm sitting there like, how do you find these? Because I go through my Goodwill, and like, I guess how much time are you actually spending in there looking for vintage t-shirts? Because the stores and the videos that they show are like, they don't look like small stores. Like, how did you come across that deal? I had 800 shirts at 2 cents a piece. Okay. See, and that's Dan, that's what I got, man. So where I live, I've got like exactly where my house is. I can pull out and then go left, and there's a Goodwill. And I can pull out, go right, and then there's Salvation Army. And the Walmart and the Target are near the first Goodwill. That Goodwill doesn't seem to have a lot of good stuff. But then I'll go to the one that's a little bit further. It's actually near the fire station that I work at full time. And that one has been my more successful. But you cannot help but get a little jealous or a little kind of like, how come these people are just walking in these random stores and finding like all these items, and I'm going to my Goodwill, and I guess just people in my area just don't want to donate like that. So, and Matt, what I've done is, you talking about the title on the listing, is especially if it's something with a barcode, I'll scan it, I'll look at the completed and the sold listings. And then I find one on what's pretty consistent and the title actually looks clean. So then I will kind of use that same title and then change it a little bit probably on the back end, because I understand, like, if you're looking for, I don't know, Game Boy, like a Super Mario game, for example, you're probably only going to type in like Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Nintendo or something like that. Most people aren't searching like the full title that says completed box and blah, blah, blah. They might just say CIB. So I try to make sure, I guess those important words are up toward the front. But then, kind of like what you just said, is I've done, what's it called? I've done that same thing, basically copied the person's listing, made sure everything was still correct for me, and it still has like no views on it. I mean, it's probably got like a couple views, but that's about it. And Marie, I try to use, like I said earlier, I feel like I'm at a little bit of disadvantage, because whenever people are putting up their yard sales, they put them on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook, which is okay, but I kind of miss on that kind of stuff. So the local paper here has a website and they have a classified, so I will at least look there. But then nobody's posting them on the classifieds. So the yard sale that we randomly saw yesterday, we just happened to be going down the street into the grocery store and we passed it. Wasn't listed anywhere that I checked and saw. So that's kind of the thing. But then the other thing I'm really realizing is whenever and yard sales are just now really starting to ramp up a little bit, but is asking, just bluntly asking, like, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? So. Dan, are you doing reselling full time or are you doing it part time? So, Marie, I just re-downloaded I did just do yard sale treasure map and paid the $5 for the year subscription, and it still showed me the same one, the same yard sale. So it wasn't like a bunch of different ones popped up. It's still showing the one in my area. But Dan, has everything been going? Oh, is that an interesting job to have? I think that would kind of be interesting, especially if you're a supervisor. I think it'd be pretty interesting. It can be. So, Marie, you say that's an app. I do have to go pick up some 2 VCRs tomorrow, though. Because I was on High Bid and there was an estate sale. And in my area, I guess they're not letting people come through and do previews and stuff like that. So I did end up selling or winning winning one bid. So I'm going to check that out. I guess I got to pick that up tomorrow. I see. I got interested in watching those poker tournaments on TV. I mean, that's cool just to see. Um, oh, okay, that's a good tip. Thank you, Murray. Estate sale. Bam. There it is. Thank you for giving me that tidbit. I mean, but could you imagine? I mean, I've never been in a situation. I've played some poker with buddies, 20 bucks, I think it was buy-in kind of thing. We played around, but I could not imagine having that much money, like thousands of dollars in front of you, and then all of a sudden it just goes away. That would not go well for me. I wouldn't like that. Well, I don't want the day. I'm using the app right now, trying to figure it out. You are here. All right, Mary, you're going to have to come here and show me how to use the app because it's not working. Oh, never mind. What's that? Wow. So I did the state one, the Murray, and nothing for 30 miles, and then I bump it up to 60 miles, and then some stuff's popping up. Nick, did you go tell Rev that he had to go clean out your side of the carport or the garage so that you could park your car in there? You had a couple people on your side to open your car spot back up. 40 miles. I'm going to try 40. Because I had it at 30, so it was set at 30, and it didn't do anything for me. I think, with the yard sales, I think some people are still, and rightfully so. See, it says no sales found within 40 miles. I think people are still a little skeptical, taking it a little easy just to make sure. But then, there's talks about a second wave of this stuff coming on. So downsizing, what is that? Real estate. Golly, there's like big up in those states. Okay, all right. See, I'm so glad you're in my chat right now because you're just helping me out. 14 days. Whoops. So, Dan, were you just saying they're not good at, like, you didn't have any, or? Oh, okay. Whole vacuum cleaner was just watching. Yeah, I saw that too, where he was talking about you like kind of sell them off a little bit, or he was selling them in the some parts. But Matt, do you think they have enough? That like, do they have a consistent amount? Do you think of yard sales? Yeah, man. Shoot, where I live, it just seems like, or Josh said it on his live the other day. He said that, yeah, he had a couple pop up kind of like, I think 30 minutes away from he lived, but was it actually going to be worth him driving the 30 minutes to go look and, for something that he might make $40 on? So that's the other thing I guess you got to think about is figuring out if it's actually going to be worth. So do you think you'll make more money parting it out though? And they didn't give you any indication of what was going to be at that neighborhood sale. I have seen some of those though. They'll actually post and they'll say, "Hey, it's actually going to be XYZ." No, Dan, I hate you had to drive all that way, man. That was gosh, that would not be. I wouldn't like that. Man, that's how I found a couple of my actually when I first started doing this and actually I went to one garage sale, one yard sale, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. And it was near my in-laws' house. And Jess had actually told me about it. And so I went and checked it out. I bought a picture that I have not hung up yet. One, because she won't let me hang it up, but because it's a Clemson Tiger picture, and I'm a Clemson fan, obviously, and she's a Carolina fan. So those are rivalry schools in South Carolina. And she, not she. Anyway, I go to the garage sale, I find that, I buy it. I didn't really see anything else that I wanted. And then I just started talking to people, and they ended up giving me a bunch of Harry Potter books as well as some Harry Potter ornaments. This was after Christmas time, so I didn't think the Harry Potter stuff was going to sell, the ornaments anyway. And then they ended up, I listed them, and they ended up selling like the next day. So I sold them for free, and then sold them for $35. So I got lucky on that one by just a sign and not a actual listing somewhere. So how do okay, Christmas and Halloween sell all the time. So you say that, and I believe you, but then I saw something. I think she's a pretty good. Uh, Dan, you know her. It's Lynn. Is that her name? I think that was her. Anyway, is it Here's Lynn? Yeah, Here's Lynn. I think she was selling, and like I said, I think it was her. But anyway, I remember seeing um, a bunch of Christmas shirts that she was selling. And Dan, correct me if I'm wrong on that, if that was her or not. But anyway, I saw it and I thought it was her. So, but she was like, I'm just trying to get rid of these kind of things. So, Christmas and Halloween sells year round, though. Hmm. It was on, like I said, I thought it was on her Instagram story, but I could be wrong. And I feel like it was yesterday. And of course, it's not up there anymore. So, and she seems like a pretty energetic person, by the way. I have never talked to her, but she seems like a very nice person. So, I'll tell you one other thing that I can't get into is shoes. I've sold a couple of shoes, but some of these people in here, like the Renzi, RNZY, I don't know how. I just don't know. I don't know how they sell them. I don't know how they find them. I don't know I just don't get it. I just don't understand how they can go. They just are able to go into a couple stores and they post like, hey, they did over the weekend. Hey, we went to this store. Stop number one was X amount of shoes. Stop number two was X amount of shoes. Yeah, got stop number 50 shoes, that kind of thing. But they just find shoes and they're able to flip it. But I do believe that because they do it on Poshmark and I'm not sure if they said Macari as well. But on Poshmark, that's more of a social media type of platform, I believe. So like you would, okay, they travel. So with Poshmark, you have to like share your closet and stuff like that. So yes, and Macari. So obviously that's a little bit different, I think. Um, you just have to. I think Poshmark you really have to work at. And like I said, I don't have a lot of experience on Poshmark. I posted one thing on there that I got from RA thinking it was going to work, and then yeah, it's still sitting there. So obviously it didn't work out too well for me. But eBay and Macari and some Amazon has been my go-to stuff, and I think it's cool like how everybody can just find their platforms and they make them work. So I price. So now that you bring that up, Marie, I do. So I offer and Dan, I know that you and Sam had a conversation on about Macari the other day, and he said, the free, he doesn't offer free shipping and that kind of stuff, which is fine. But so I've mainly listed the dumbbells on Macari, and I haven't really figured out because I would like to just send them USPS priority. I can put them in a medium flat, depending on what it is. I can put it on a medium flat rate box and then ship the dumbbells out, and it's like $13. But you can't just select. At least I hadn't seen it on the app anyway. You can't just select medium flat rate and call it a day like you can on eBay. So I mark it up a little bit more to cover that shipping, and then I have to. So I offer free shipping, but then I also mark my item up in order to cover that free shipping. Because I can fit the 40-pound sets that I put together, dumbbells in a medium flat rate, and then I put the 54-pound in a large flat rate. And that's like $18 for that large one, I think. I think another thing I just need to do is just start really watching some of these guys. Like if when I've got downtime at the station, just go back and just watch these videos and just see how they got everything. Now on eBay, you're gonna pay shipping. I always list my items with shipping on eBay. Now, that being said, I also have screwed myself up with shipping on eBay because I didn't actually wait before I listed it. Video game, that kind of stuff, yeah, that's going to be under $5. So I have the buyer pay $5, and it's probably more likely going to be $3.28 or something like that. So I'll make a little bit of money off the shipping. And some of the larger items, I sold 2 swimming pools. And I charged, I think I actually weighed those though. So that's a terrible example. But there's some other items where I didn't, and I was actually under on the shipping. So, but my death pile is, I got a bunch of, and Matt, I need to chat with you soon about how you listed your DVDs. But I got a bunch of DVDs that I need to list. Now I have this 144 comic book thing I've got to work through. Still got to go through some more dumbbells. I've got a list. I want to redo my puzzles, so I need to kind of revamp my puzzles. I've got a couple of couple button-up shirts that I need to do. So, in all reality, it's not like it's not like a room full of stuff. It's probably maybe a quarter of a room of stuff that I need to list. So, and Matt, thank you for your comment. What I didn't know when I started this whole thing, I didn't really have an expectation. I didn't know I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So whenever my first item sold, I was like, all right, cool. And, I figured out a way and got it out. So now I've got the kind of like the shipping method down and that kind of stuff. But I didn't have an expectation. I didn't know what kind of numbers to look for or kind of, set checkpoints for or anything like that. But I ended up, for the time that I do and put into it, I think I have done pretty well compared to what I've seen somebody else do over a year. So I'm happy with my number. I'll put it that way. I'm happy with my number. I will be interested to see what it is at the end of the year, though. Yes, Matt, this is a Yeti. Now it's got the little pop thing on it. So my first YouTube idea was I was going to do video game stuff. That's whenever Pokemon Sword and Shield came out, and I thought I was going to be like this gamer. Like, oh, how hard could that be? Plenty of people do it. Yeah, it can be actually pretty freaking hard. And the reason I say that is because on the Switch, you have to use a game capture card kind of thing. Well, in order to really do it, I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it the right way, I guess. So I got that, and I actually made a video, and it wasn't too bad. But then I did a voiceover, and like the editing and stuff like that was just really time consuming. So I made one video, it got 20 views, and I called that channel quits. So then I got into the reselling side of the YouTube. And I like this one better. I like the reselling side of this better because nine times out of 10, the people that I've talked to or met on here, everybody's very friendly. Matt reached out to me. Matt was the first person that I was on another person's channel doing a live, which I was grateful that he reached out to me and I was able to do it because that just made me feel good. And then I had John DC Picker on the last live that I did, and he had actually reached out to me before and said, hey, anytime you want to talk reselling, just let me know and I'll hop on with you. And that time I kind of did the same thing I did today on Instagram. Like, hey, if you want to jump in, let me know. I'll send you the link. And he said, send me the link. So then I sent him the link, and then we ended up talking for an hour and a half. So, and that one we talked about, he didn't get like personal. It's not like that, but he, we talked about reselling, we talked about kids, we talked about work. So when I say work, he can't talk about his work because he works for the MIB with all the alphabet agents. But, that was a good conversation. Game shoes I watched. Okay. Yeah, man, it's terrible. And so I'm also trying to figure out like what's best on when you do your videos. Because Anthony at Froggy Flips just he doesn't do a premiere. I haven't seen him do a premiere. Let me put it that way. He hasn't done a premiere on most of his videos. He just puts them out there. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to just put them out there now. A couple of them I was doing premieres because a couple of people actually, they came in, we talked and that kind of thing. And like I said, I like doing that. But I think the videos I put out now until I get, kind of get up there is just start putting them out. So I just need to really focus on just putting content out so that people have something to watch. So. Well, guys, I've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes. I am going to cut it off right here because I am tired. We've been working out in the yard all day, and today's my last day. Technically, that I'm off of on vacation. So, starting tomorrow, I've got to start back at my part-time job, and then I'm back on shift Tuesday and Friday. I will have a live next week, and I'm supposed to be having a guest on, so I'll post that more later on. And then, so y'all just get ready for next week, because next week's live is actually, it should be very fun. We're going to have a guest that a lot of people know, and we'll go from there. So, guys, I hope y'all have a good week, and y'all have a good night. Bye.